Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty well. It's looks like a little bit of a windy day out there today, so I'm not so sure it's going to be warm. It looks like a typical cold, windy fall day. How about in Georgia?
It's just been raining for like 4 days in a row,
Oh,
literally
yeah.
constantly. So very
Wow.
soggy, Georgia.
Yep. We had an extremely rainy day yesterday. I went and worked out with a girlfriend in the morning and the roads were flooded. So yep, we got a wet fall for sure. And then I took a hike the other day and there were like puddles, huge puddles of water that are usually like in the springtime after our snow melt with like vernal pools. And I'm like, it's November. We shouldn't be
Yeah.
having vernal pools. This is wild. Yeah. So crazy weather patterns. So Melissa and I are here today to talk about 12 strategies to heal fatty liver naturally. Melissa wrote this awesome article on our website, and we're going to sort of be following it and outlining it. We're not going to be going over quite as many as the details as the article does, so we will provide a link for this article so that you can refer to it in more detail if you wish. It's loaded with awesome information. And Melissa did a really, really fine job with this article. So I really encourage if fatty liver is something that you suffer from, please go to our website and read this article because it's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So Melissa's going to start us off here.
Well, let's talk about the liver. When I started researching the liver, I really did not realize just how critical it is. I knew it was an important organ, obviously, but it's our body's largest organ. It's our body's workhorse, is what they call it. It's got so many critical functions in the body, and I just kind of wanted to go over some of those functions so you'll realize just how important the liver is. It's what is referred to as the gatekeeper because it absorbs and filters everything we put into our body. Once it's filtered, it clears out those harmful toxins and waste, and it retains nutrients the body needs. It helps with metabolizing fats, carbs, and protein. It balances your hormones, helps oxidize triglycerides to produce energy. We talked some about the gallbladder last week and bile, and liver is responsible for producing bile, which is essential for digestion and absorption of fats, which Danielle's going to talk some later today about. It also ensures blood sugar remains stable. This is really interesting. The liver will remove sugar if your blood sugar levels are high, and it releases sugar when your blood sugar levels are low. So it helps to regulate your blood sugar levels. Converts amino acids and protein for energy production, supports your immune system by removing pathogens and fighting infections. We've talked about that too in our Facebook Lives. And then it also helps create cholesterol for hormone production and tissue healing. So this is vital. One thing a lot of people don't realize is that your thyroid is connected because the liver is partially responsible for converting T4 to the active form of thyroid hormone, which is T3. So a lot of times, if your liver is not functioning optimally, neither is your thyroid, and you'll experience some of those low T3 symptoms. Fatty liver is what we're really going to talk about today, and that is when excess fat builds up in your liver. So your liver is supposed to have small amounts of fat. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about excess fat. And there's two types. Most people have heard of alcoholic fatty liver disease, and that's when fatty liver develops from processing too much alcohol. The most common liver disease, though, is not from alcohol. It's actually called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It affects 25 to 40% of American adults, so a huge amount of adults are suffering from this, and 60% of those are men. And the really sad thing is now there's increasing numbers of children that are suffering from fatty liver disease because of obesity and diet and other reasons. So really critical that we address this. And one other just thing I wanted to mention is there's NASH stands for, it's NASH, that actually stands for non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. And that's when, in addition to fat in the liver, you have inflammation and cellular damage. So this leads to scarring of liver tissue, and over time you can develop cirrhosis, which a lot of people have heard of, cirrhosis of the liver. It's a very dangerous condition. So definitely something we need to be paying attention to.
Yep, absolutely. And, if someone has a combination of having both a history of a poor diet that can lead to fatty liver disease, and then you throw something like hepatitis on top of it, it's like a double whammy.
Yeah.
And actually, my mom, I sent her this article this morning when I was looking it over, and I sent it to her because she has experienced both of these. And so, for someone who's never really drank anything in her life, her liver suffers for it for sure, or from it. Melissa, and slide over to your right just a tiny bit. So you said perfect. Awesome. That poor Melissa can't really see how she's situated in the frame here. But I can, so I wanted to just tell her to slide over. Okay, so we've got a few people watching us this morning that I want to mention from Japan. We have Miranda. Hello, hello, Miranda from Japan. And Donna, she's so sweet. She said, good morning. Thank you for the gems you share. So thank you, everyone, for joining Melissa and me. We really appreciate people tuning in and listening to what we have to say. It's nice knowing that people are there on the other end and we're not talking to thin air, right, Melissa?
That's exactly right.
So I'm going to go on and talk about the causes and symptoms of fatty liver disease. So there's a lot of people out there who have simple fatty liver disease who really don't experience any symptoms at all. And this is like a little bit scary because there's stuff going on in your body and you're not even really aware of it. And if you're not aware of it, then you can't really do anything to help improve it, right? But if they do experience some sort of symptoms, it's usually something like fatigue, a little bit of pain in sort of the upper right abdomen, that upper right quadrant of the abdomen, which is where your liver is. And over time, more symptoms may develop. So I guess it depends on the severity and how long you've had it. But other symptoms with simple fatty liver disease would be an enlarged liver. So maybe sometimes you could feel that sort of swelling, weakness, loss of appetite, nausea. Sometimes people experience weight loss as well with this. But once the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease has progressed into what Melissa has told us is called NASH, or possibly cirrhosis, these symptoms can worsen and include abdominal swelling. So the whole abdomen, abdomen cavity can start swelling. The blood vessels, I thought this was really interesting. The blood vessels sort of just underneath the surface of the skin can start enlarging, and you can actually like physically see them. In men, you can see enlarged breast tissue, which of course is abnormal. An enlarged spleen, the palms of the hands can get red. And then you can also see jaundice, which could be shown in the color of your skin, as well as the white of your eyes can turn yellow. So these are all signs and symptoms of fatty liver disease that ends up occurring after the disease has progressed somewhat. And sometimes people don't really know, that they have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. These can go unnoticed, or some of these symptoms could be similar to like pancreas issues as far as, the jaundice goes. So if you want to figure out exactly, if you do have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or if it's progressed into NASH or cirrhosis, you can have some blood tests to look at your liver enzymes, the AST, the ALT, LDH, GGT is, I think will let you know whether it's related to alcohol or not, as I understand. You could do some liver imaging to see if your liver is in fact enlarged. And then of course, a liver biopsy. This will definitely give you a definite diagnosis as to whether you have NASH or cirrhosis. So it's important to, get a diagnosis so that you understand the severity of it and that you can take action on it. Because I think sometimes if we're like, oh, maybe I have that, you don't take it as seriously. But I think if you actually get that diagnosis, you might take the steps it takes to cure yourself or to support yourself. So Susie's asking a question. Can you test for non-alcohol fatty liver disease? We just talked about that. I have low FT3 and not able to get it up even with T3 medication. Oh, I think she's talking about her thyroid hormones probably.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, Susie, we sometimes support the thyroid with a couple of different supplements that we use. One is like Melissa was talking about, the liver is responsible for that conversion of the less active T4 to the more active T3. So we have a supplement called Thyro Liver Protect, and that's a really good one to help for that conversion. And another one, if you're actually needing like the hormone, we have something called Thyroid Strong, and that's a really good supplement. It's basically a desiccated bovine thyroid hormone gland. So it helps your body take that and actually like use it to make your own thyroid hormone. So I hope that was helpful.
As far as testing, I do want to point out that we've got a test called the Complete Thyroid Panel. And even though it's called Complete Thyroid, it's actually like a complete blood test because it has a CBC and a metabolic panel. So it will look at your liver enzyme function. And then it's also got a very comprehensive list of thyroid tests. So we can really try to figure out what's underlying the low T3. There's reverse T3 is tested, and several other T3 uptake. So things that conventional medical doctors will not typically order. So definitely look at that under our lab testing, because that could be helpful for looking at both of those issues.
Yep, good point. So go ahead, Melissa. Talk to us a little bit about an anti-inflammatory diet.
Well, everything begins with diet as far as healing. Actually, there's studies that have shown that the ketogenic diet is very helpful for improving fatty liver. The studies in the article, if you want to look at that, but it showed that it reduced fatty liver, reduced inflammation and scarring. So using anti-inflammatory principles following the ketogenic guidelines is what I would recommend for fatty liver. So the ketogenic guidelines are typically 70 to 80% of your calories are from fat, around 20% from protein, and 5 to 10% from carbohydrates. There's tons of information on our website about the ketogenic diet. I'm sure you've heard Dr. Jocker speak about it. But so what you really need to avoid, we're looking at inflammation. So avoid those pro-inflammatory foods that I pretty much talk about every week. So your conventionally raised meat and dairy, your processed vegetable oils, they're very toxic, and they promote the development of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So really try to avoid any of those processed oils. Anything with pesticides and herbicides, you really want to eat organic as much as possible. Try to avoid those toxins because, like I said, your liver has to filter all of those toxins. So that can be hard. Your liver can get overloaded with toxins, especially if it's already not functioning optimally. And of course, the sugar and carbs, those refined processed sugar and carbs, we just want to get those out of the diet for a myriad of reasons. And then what to eat. So I like to talk about what to eat, not just what to avoid. So your cleanly sourced protein, grass-fed beef, pastured organic chicken and eggs, wild-caught salmon, one of my absolute favorite foods, healthy fats, olives, avocados, coconut, of course, and all of their oils, their meats, olives are great. Low glycemic fruits, which would include your berries, Granny Smith apples, and then a variety of vegetables. Incorporating a variety of differently colored vegetables can be really anti-inflammatory. So those are some ideas on what to eat.
Great. That leads us to what I was going to talk about, liver healthy foods, which we'll talk about in 1 second. I just want to answer Aletta's question. Aletta, we're going to be providing, after we do this Facebook Live, on this sort of thread, I will post the article that you can refer to. So come on back later to this and you will see the article. Or if you want to, you could go right to our website and search 12 strategies to heal fatty liver naturally. That's the name of it. Okay, so Melissa just mentioned some of the foods that I was going to talk about: the organic or pasture-raised animals, wild-caught fish. Also, what's important is, our ancestors believed that we would eat the organ of an animal in which we wanted to strengthen of our own. So, for example, the liver. If we eat liver from other animals, of course, well-sourced liver, like I said, pasture-raised, grass-fed animals, wild-caught fish, that it would actually improve our own liver in our own body. And the liver is really high in vitamin A, folate, iron, choline, B12, trace minerals, and of course, glutathione, which is our master antioxidant that we've talked about before. Like Melissa mentioned, pasture-raised eggs is really important. Vegetables, cruciferous vegetables such as cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, kale, all of these things are really important for helping neutralize toxins in our body. Some people don't think that food is powerful, and I think that food is so powerful. It's like it can help create health or it can help create disease. And, with every bite we take, we make that choice. Like, how is this going to nourish me? Is it going to cause inflammation in my body, or is it actually going to promote anti-inflammatory effects? Is it going to decrease inflammation? Is it going to add nutrients to help support my body in ways that needs to be able to function optimally? So garlic is also a really big food as far as helping get rid of toxins. Beets are lovely. Beets have such lovely I think that beets are one of the prettiest foods when you cook them. They're such a beautiful color, and it's known to help detoxify the liver. Leafy greens, of course, that's a big one. Avocados are high in glutathione, so again, helps us cleanse and detoxify these harmful substances that, our liver is constantly having to flush through our body and hopefully get rid of. So that it protects our liver cells and doesn't ultimately end up damaging them. Different citrus fruits, like Melissa just mentioned, lemons, limes, some grapefruit. Berries are great. Fatty fish, always the omega-3 fatty acids. They help reduce lipid accumulation in the body. They also help improve insulin sensitivity, our lipid profile. They will decrease liver enzymes, which is great, and super anti-inflammatory. Coffee is a good one. And I thought this was interesting, Melissa, that coffee is found to be inversely related to liver cancer. That those who drank coffee on a regular basis, I'm not saying 7 cups a day, but that they found lower associations of liver cancer. So there are definitely some good benefits to coffee. Extra virgin olive oil is a big one. Again, it helps improve your liver enzymes, reduce oxidative stress. All this is really important. Decreasing inflammation is good with nuts. Nuts are awesome. Again, helps improve your lipid profile. And then things like chlorella and spirulina, these different algae, they help support immune function in the body, as well as chelating different toxins and harmful substances, heavy metals. They sort of help bind to them and help safely excrete them out of your body. So all these things are really, really important. Hello, Ruth Blackney from South Carolina. Thanks for joining us. And let's see, I think next we want to talk a little bit about liver supporting nutrients.
Yeah, on the coffee, I did want to mention a lot of people don't realize that that's one of the highest pesticide foods. So make sure if you are going to drink coffee to drink organic. On the liver support nutrients, these are necessary for proper functioning and detox pathways in the liver. So there's 3 different phases of liver detoxification, and there's different nutrients that support each phase. In phase 1, toxins are transformed into their chemical form for further metabolism in phase 2. So some nutrients that are great for that are your B vitamins, folate, glutathione, antioxidants, carotenoids, vitamin E and zinc, and vitamin C is another good one for that. Phase 2 is where the toxins are conjugated into water-soluble forms, and that's selenium, sulfur, magnesium, B12, and amino acids are great for that. And then In phase 3, that's the enzymatic process where toxins are diverted for excretion, because that's the goal, to get the toxins out of your body. And the same nutrients that are good for phase 1 and 2 are helpful for phase 3. So as far as supplementing, Danielle was mentioning that Thyro Liver Protect supplement, and that has milk thistle, and that's really great for liver detoxification. It also has selenium, which is important for your thyroid gland, and it's key for that phase 1 liver detox. ALA and N-acetylcysteine, they both boost glutathione and support phase 2. So a lot of different nutrients that can support your liver. So just looking maybe at that thyroid liver, and then making sure you're getting a good multivitamin mineral formula to support those phases.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Ruth is asking, is celery juice good for liver cleansing? I would say absolutely. Yeah. I love the idea of celery juice. Celery and cucumber together, super hydrating, detoxifying for sure. So yes, I would say yes, yes, yes to Ruth. So next we're going to talk a little bit about optimizing stomach acid and bile flow. So there's different strategies we could use. I think Melissa and I a couple of times have talked about the importance of stomach acid. So I'll quickly review. Basically, we need stomach acid to support our digestion of all the nutrients. And the biggest reason why is that it makes things acidic enough to be able to stimulate the release of digestive pancreatic enzymes into the small intestine. If things are not acidic enough, then, I like to think of it as like an assembly line. If the first part of the assembly line is not done, then it's really hard to do the second, third, fourth, and so on. So it's really important to have optimal acidity in the stomach acid. And we can do different things to help improve stomach acid. We can drink, ginger. We can include ginger in our meals. We can use fermented foods or the juice of the fermented foods, or different drinks like kombucha. We can use lemon juice, apple cider vinegar. All these things will really help support the production, our own body's natural production of hydrochloric acid. Dr. Jockers is a big fan of liquid nutrition. He talks a lot about how he really only has one solid meal a day. So if you have 1 or 2 other meals a day of liquid nutrition, so that your food's already broken down for you and very easily assimilated in your body, so that your body doesn't need to, excrete a lot of hydrochloric acid or digestive enzymes, because a lot of these things, your food's already broken down, so there's less work for your body to do. And then if all else fails, you can always lean on betaine hydrochloric acid for helping increase, it basically is putting some acidity into your body. And they're in these little capsules that really don't break down through your esophagus, so you're not going to feel that sort of acidity in your esophagus. It's going to be released once it gets into the stomach, and it increases the acidity to be able to help unfold proteins, to increase the acidity so that the pancreatic enzymes will be released, and so forth and so on. Something else we need, and talking about the liver, is proper bile production and flow. So as Melissa said before, the bile is made in the liver and it's stored in the gallbladder. And sort of same thing is like we have to have an acidic environment in order for that gallbladder to really release the bile into the small intestine to start emulsifying the fat. So that's what bile's job is, emulsify the fat so that we can digest it and absorb it properly. It's really important as far as the bile has all these antimicrobial properties as well, so it helps kill off unwanted pathogens. And bile is really necessary for eliminating toxins. So like Melissa was talking about the different phases of liver detoxification, so bile plays a huge role in that. So if you have a bunch of toxins in your body and your bile production is compromised, there are some things you can do. We have a supplement called Bile Flow Support. I keep meaning to try this one out. Have you tried it out yet,
No,
Melissa?
I haven't.
Yeah, I struggle a little bit after my gut issues from 3.5 years ago. And I fooled around with the digestive enzymes, with the betaine. I've even done the ox bile, and I don't think I needed the ox bile, but maybe something like the bile flow support would be helpful to me as far as, helping me metabolize my fats a little bit more and supporting some healthier flow of bile. But I have recommended this to people, and it seems like it has been pretty helpful.
My clients have found it very helpful. I have tried the BioGest, which has ox bile and the hydrochloric acid,
Yeah.
just for breaking down fats. And I did find that one helpful. That one's great if you don't have a gallbladder. A lot of people don't have gallbladders, and they have difficulty breaking down these fats. So that one can be very helpful.
Yeah, I agree. And like Melissa said, that BioGest contains both the hydrochloric acid and the ox bile. So if you're someone who doesn't have a gallbladder, that's a great one. But if you're someone who has a gallbladder, but bile flow seems to be an issue, this bile flow support would be better for you. So we have several other strategies that we talk about in our or Melissa's article. And go ahead, Melissa. We're just going to sort of list them off, but our article goes into more detail if you want to look further.
Yeah, there are definitely other things. We just didn't want this to run forever. So we just thought you would appreciate just kind of listing these and going over a few in detail. So optimal hydration, at least half your body weight in water every day is important. Reducing stress and dealing with your anger. Those are both two things that are important for liver. They say the liver is the seat of anger in traditional Chinese medicine. So letting go of some of the bitterness can be helpful. Sleep. We need to do everything possible to optimize our sleep. It's critical for overall health and for liver health. Castor oil packs. I don't know if you've tried those yet, but you can basically put castor oil over your liver. You cover it with a flannel cloth and a hot water bottle. The details are in the article, but that can be helpful for the liver. And then the last thing is intermittent fasting. And I talked about that some last week, but that's basically having a window in which you're eating your solid food meals to give your body time to rest and heal. So that's another strategy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so thank you everybody for joining us. Like we said, please check out that article to learn more. Lots of little tidbits in there that will help you improve your liver and gallbladder and bile health. So please, as usual, if you have any questions, list them here, and Melissa and I will go back in and try to answer your questions. So thank you for joining us. And I think next week we're going to try to do like a Monday or Tuesday and talk a little bit about, healthy cooking on Thanksgiving. We thought that might be an apropos subject for next week.
Yeah, and I just want to say that if you're struggling with a health condition, whether it's your liver or anything else, there's so much information out there and it can be so overwhelming. So I really recommend that you reach out to Danielle or myself for support and guidance, because it can really make a huge difference in your healing journey. So Danielle will list both of our email addresses also with the link to the article. So reach out.
Yeah, please do. Oftentimes we feel like we're an isolated island when we're sick, that we've gone to doctors, no one's been able to help us. And, we tend to, here at drdoctors.com, we tend to look at things differently with, through a different lens. We're trained to be ultimate detectives. Yes. Some cases are more challenging than others, but, really, we're determined to help people, and yeah, instead of playing Dr. Google and trying to figure out your own sort of issues, I really urge you to reach out to one of us. Oftentimes people, I do most of the lab interpretation with drdoctors.com, and there's so many people who are ordering these labs willy-nilly. I mean, it's great that we offer them, but if I were you, if you're suspicious of something, at least do a 25-minute consult with one of us to help figure out what's worth chasing down. Sometimes people are
Absolutely.
going off on a path because they're convinced it's one thing or another, and they're completely wrong. And then they've wasted their time. They've wasted hundreds and hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars. So it's really a good idea to check in with, a functional medicine health practitioner to try to figure out what's going on. So we're here for
Absolutely.
you. Utilize us. All right, Melissa, you have a great day, and we'll be in touch. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.